Welcome to the Hollywood Scholar. I'm Chad Morgan, and we have some strange reports coming out of the Mirror regarding the upcoming reboot of Doctor Who starring Ncuti and Millie Gibson. And according to these rumors and reports by the Mirror, it looks like Millie Gibson will not be returning for Series 2, at least as the main companion of the show. Now, this falls in line with a few other pieces of news. As of when this news originally came out, it seemed like an unsubstantiated report, maybe something that could be real, maybe something that couldn't be, so I didn't want to report it on immediately. But many other reputable sites, such as Deadline and Variety, have also taken this news and seem to believe that it's accurate, so I think that's enough of credibility to at least discuss this potential news, because the BBC hasn't said anything about it, so there's still an area of ambiguity whether or not this news is real. So I recommend a heavy grain of salt when it comes to this news, but there's enough legitimacy to it to warrant talking about. So the initial news was the Doctor Who companion Millie Gibson dropped from next series of BBC show as replacement is revealed. Now this falls in line with the reports from the Millie Gibson interviews saying that in 2025 she'll be looking for new auditions, new roles and stuff like that. And everyone took that to mean that she might be fired, that there might be no Doctor Who going forward. I definitely didn't fall into that camp. I just figured it was something like, hey, they're filming the season for 2025 right now, which is what is happening. Series 2 of the rebooted era is currently in production, so that'll come out in 2025. So she'll have time on her hands in 2025. Or, as this rumor seems to support, she might be a one-season companion similar to that of Martha Jones, Donna Noble, and several other companions. But there's still some complicated things here, because according to this report, she will be appearing in several episodes of season 2, but she won't be the primary companion. So Martha Jones seems to be the best comparison for the route that her character is going to take. The biggest problem with all this when it comes to Doctor Who, because as much as I would like to say this is a sign of breaking down at the production, this is a sign of an issue behind the scenes with Russell T Davies, the BBC, Millie Gibson, and whatnot, I just don't necessarily see that as true. This could 100% be something written into the story and the direction that Russell wanted to go with this character, because he's had other companions that were only one season companions. So I don't take this as necessarily being a sign of trouble or a sign of drama or anything like that. As much as I would like to, that's not how I see it. However, the issue with this announcement, at least when it comes to how this news is reflected on the BBC, is the fact that it's come out before we've even seen a second episode from Millie. The first episode from Series 1 is yet to air, with several months until that release in May. And that can't be good marketing for the season, now that we know roughly what's going to happen to her character in the end. It's just bad marketing. So I don't believe this is intentional, which means someone leaked it probably. An insider communicated with the Mirror. Maybe if it is legitimate, maybe making it up if it isn't. But regardless, this doesn't look good for the BBC in that sense. Not the sense that she's not returning as the main companion for season 2, but the fact that we know about it is where the concerning issue lies. However, one piece of news that I want to tack onto this discussion, at least before I wrap up the Millie Gibson part of this video, is the fact that she might have been a diva in a lot of the shoots for Doctor Who and other shoots. She's just generally been labeled as a diva, apparently, and that is what some people are using as justification for this decision. Russell may have written her out of the story because of her aggressive, over-the-top diva-like behavior. Now, these reports aren't necessarily substantiated either, and it's a very common issue amongst actors and actresses to be divas, so Russell would know how to handle that. Who knows what the truth is with the Millie Gibson situation, but I don't believe it necessarily spells a problem for the production as much as I would like to say that. The bigger issue is the fact that we know about it, and that reflects poorly on the BBC and Bad Wolf Productions. But the fact that this news exists, I don't think is a problem in and of itself. As of what we know right now, it could possibly be, hey, she refused to come back to season 2 because she hated working with people, or there was other drama. Those could absolutely still be the case. But as with the information we have now, I don't believe we have any information to necessarily support those conclusions. There are plenty of not necessarily positive, but neutral conclusions to come from the evidence that we currently have. Now, the new companion is an actress that I'm not familiar with. Apparently, she was in the Andor series at Disney Plus. I have not watched a single thing from Disney Star Wars since the release of Mandalorian Season 2. I'm quite behind on Disney Stars because I frankly don't care anymore, but I've never heard anything positive or negative about her role. It must have been a pretty small one. Maybe, maybe not, but this is the new companion. And I unfortunately can't pronounce her name. I apologize for that. But her name I will be showing in a moment here. She might be good. I know nothing about her at this point to have any sort of opinion one way or another, but there's definitely a strong look to this character that people will likely not forget anytime soon. For reference, this is the actress's name who will be apparently the new companion for Series 2, and I don't have anything against this actress because I don't know anything about her. I don't know if she's talented, I don't know if she's spouted off on Twitter, I don't know anything about her, so I'm not going to really have any comments about her specifically, other than the fact of the reaction to it. A lot of the people who are still watching the show are watching it out of political reasons. You just need to look at their Twitter accounts to know that they love the current era of Doctor Who, mainly because of the diversity included, and they don't actually have a whole lot of thoughts when it comes to the quality of the story, the writing, the characters, or anything like that. They're just like, ooh, that person is not white man, so it good. And that's definitely the response we've seen with a few people on Twitter saying stuff like this. If the rumors are true, speaking about the companion replacement, this is the first TARDIS team to not have a white person on it. Been praying for times like these. Now, this just perfectly encapsulates a lot of these responses where people are just celebrating the fact that the companion isn't white and the Doctor isn't white. That shouldn't have any value or lack of value in and of itself, but that's what these people care about. These current Doctor Who fans with the BBC has been enticing for many years now don't care about the quality of the story, and there's so few of them that they cannot possibly keep this franchise afloat. Their superficial motivations mean that they are not invested for the long term. They just want to tweet about it for a little bit, and I fully expect the numbers to drop significantly for the upcoming Shootigatwa series, and even more so for the second season of Shootigatwa, which may or may not feature this new actress as the companion. It's just a funny piece of news to go along with all this, is they're celebrating the fact that there's no white people in the TARDIS, which just shows you where their motivations lie. A last piece of Doctor Who news that I wanted to put on here is the fact that a trailer for a Blu-ray of Series 15, and by that I mean classic Series 15 of Doctor Who, has gotten significantly more views than the Season 1 trailer for Shootigatwa's era. We have the Season 1 trailer for Shootigatwa, the big one on Doctor Who's own YouTube channel, and it has nearly 500,000 views. That's it. It's got nearly 500,000 views, but supposedly 7 million people watched the episode, The Church on Ruby Road, mere days after it came out, but they couldn't get even a fraction of those people to come and watch the trailer for the upcoming season. That seems odd, and this is worldwide. This isn't even just the UK, like that 7 million viewership figure is reportedly in reference to. That's not good, but you know what numbers like this are good for? Blu-ray announcements for classic Doctor Who. We have this trailer featuring the collection Season 15 announcement trailer on the same channel within a couple hours of each other, a couple days. Let's see, 3 weeks ago, 9 days ago. So this one is actually newer, and it's got almost 700,000 views. It's got higher views. It's got a higher like to dislike ratio, with this one being near completely 100%. This one not terrible, but definitely closer to 75 or 80% disliked ratio. This is where people are invested. People are invested in classic Who Blu-rays more than they are in the future of the franchise. This is what you need to look at for the state of your franchise. When the past is doing significantly better in announcement trailers, this isn't some big like, oh my God, we're getting Tom Baker's return. This is nothing like that. This is nothing of that scale. This is just a continuation of their collection releases. This should not even come up on the radar on their channel compared to stuff like their other big trailers for upcoming seasons. And yet it is. It is more than competing and in fact surpassing the trailer for Series 1 of Shootigatwa. That should be very indicative of the state of the franchise, and should cause some executives at the BBC, Disney, and Bad Wolf Productions to question their motivations and the direction that they're taking this franchise, because it's definitely not towards Doctor Who. It is not for Doctor Who fans. It's for people like this who are only interested in the diversity, and that is not a motive enough to sustain a franchise for another 60 years. Do you know what type of fans sustain a franchise for over 60 years? It's the type of people who are interested in this. These are the fans that the BBC should be wooing with their upcoming seasons, but instead they're focusing on a Gen Z audience, according to Millie Gibson, and focusing on people that care more about the diversity than anything else, and that is not a sustainable plan for Doctor Who, or really any franchise for that matter. But anyway, that's all I have for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Anon.
Hey, yo, are you feeling what I'm doing up in here? Oh, I know you are. Do you miss all the good, compelling stories that we used to get back in Hollywood that they ain't putting down no more? Yo, Oh, I know you missing it. So check out my book series, Odyssey of a Phoenix, a mythological epic about philosophy, morality, and modern day mental illness issues, baby. Book 1, Down in Flames. Book 2, Apocalypse Then. These are currently on sale. What are you waiting for? Get your hands on them. And we got book 3, Kill the Dark, is coming down the pipeline. Just wait for all the good stuff that's dropping. You ain't gonna be disappointed, fam.